Now, the latest digital program that you guys have put out is the revamped rewards app. Could you tell me why now was a good time to put that out for Mooyah?
Absolutely. Well, we launched a streamlined brand early in 2020, actually right before the pandemic hit. So 2019 was work that was done streamlining our logo, making it a little more modern, as well as really the work done to establish a brand new prototype for the brand. So a completely new in-restaurant dining experience and look and feel, and exterior as well. So it was really important for us for the app to reflect what our new brand was, which is a little bit more modern, as I said, and address some of the pain points that we had with the app before. We always want, when you're embarking on a costly and time-consuming app update, you want to address every little thing that's ever been said. Let's get it all taken care of with this one update. So it was definitely time. We wanted the app to reflect the new logo, but we also wanted some enhanced functionality, especially some things that popped up during the pandemic. So one of them that I'm really excited about that we're about to kick off in test, it's ready to go live on the app, but as I mentioned before, we want to test before we go live. One of those is a dine-in mode. So now whenever guests pull up the app, it essentially makes the app a kiosk for everybody that comes in the door. They've brought their own kiosk with them in the form of their smartphone. And I'm excited about that. So then they pull up the app or even our mobile web, and instead of just the options of to-go or delivery, they now have dine-in, or will have dine-in. And from there, it goes as you would imagine. They're able to sit right down, place their order, and it will prompt them for a table number. The table numbers are right there on the table. They'll input, I'm at table 15, and then that fires off into the kitchen and lets them know it's an Olo order, but for dine-in. Tells them what table to bring the food out to. And that's really important for us to make sure that it was accurately labeled in the back of house, because oftentimes our team members, up until now, they see Olo and that makes them think I'm packaging up food to go. I'm putting it in a bag and I'm going to go that route with it. Well, now we had to have this very bold label and trigger that said dine in, Olo dine in. Make sure you prepare that food on our trays and be prepared to deliver that out to the table. So that's been one real big overhaul that, again, we haven't launched it yet because we're about to kick off the test, but this will be a pretty quick test because our franchisees are ready for this. They're excited about this, and we are too.
I think that's so interesting because I think at this point, all the operators I'm talking to either are going all in on investing in kiosks or are saying that people don't really want kiosks anymore. They want kind of touchless. I mean, I guess they're still touching their phone, but non-communal touchless technology. And so kind of where was your reasoning kind of on having the personal devices, the kiosk, as opposed to just out there on the floor?
Well, twofold. I think the pandemic has really helped with people being more comfortable sitting down at the table and expecting to have less contact with someone else. And that's really because of all the QR codes. You almost can't go to a restaurant anymore that isn't, a really high-end restaurant and expect not to see a QR code on the table, that's what you click and pull up the menu. And people are okay with it. My parents' generation, I'm so proud of them. They know how to use a QR code now. We never would have seen that unless we were forced to all kind of get on the same program. So I think consumers are ready for the option, and now they'll be more receptive to it. But we do also have a kiosk solution because I think there are some markets, or we as a team think there are some markets where it's going to make sense. It does not make sense in all markets or in all restaurants. But our Times Square, New York restaurant, which has a really tiny footprint, it makes a lot of sense there. And it makes a lot of sense in some markets where our franchisees are just facing labor shortages that, honestly, they're looking for every solution. They're looking for the Olo in-restaurant dining mode on the app. They're looking for a kiosk. They're looking for anything that will help with some relief. So we're not necessarily saying no to kiosks at all, but we're saying kiosk isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Nor is having Olo dine-in mode on the app, but by providing in all options, we're helping to reduce that friction and just meet guests where they might want to order.
And you mentioned that you're kind of using this opportunity to address some of the bugs or feedback that you've gotten from customers. So what are some of the challenges or issues that you addressed in this app revamp?
We had heard for a while that there was some confusion around whenever guests were redeeming rewards and if they were redeeming it on an online order or an in-restaurant order. So with this update, we're making it very clear. Push here if you're redeeming this offer in restaurant, push here if you're redeeming this offer online. And that was one that is really, really going to make it a lot easier on the team member, because that's where, the rubber hits the road. They bring this in and said, I have a discount. I have this discount, and, oftentimes it is that emotional, and it's poor team member. They're like, I don't know, especially if they're brand new and that may not know how to handle a situation like that. So by making it really, really clear for guests, we're eliminating those issues moving forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. And does data personalization play a role in how the rewards app operates?
It does. And in one of the areas that I'm excited about, it's specifically within the options of what we suggest after a guest has kind of completed their cart on the Olo side of things, on the ordering side. We're able to have this little may we suggest section. And that may we suggest is based on both previous orders as well as what's in their cart right now. So the items that are going to complement what you have right now. So if you've ordered our current LTO, the Big Dill, which is a delicious Texas size burger, but you don't have the Texas pecan shake in your cart, we're going to say, hey, you should try this item. This is delicious and it pairs really well with that burger.
And speaking of menu items, will rewards members get to try new things first, or are there any kind of perks to being a rewards member?
We do let them know before anybody else of new things that are coming. So yes, absolutely. As our most loyal guests, we want them to have that benefit and the ability to be in the know before anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And what are your goals for both the app and in general digital strategy moving forward?
Our big goal for the rewards app is for 15% of our loyalty transactions to be, 15% of all of our transactions to be loyalty transactions. And we hit that number in 2020, which was really, really big, especially for a fast casual brand that isn't coffee, that doesn't have that daily habitual ordering. So we're very, very happy and proud with that 15% number. We've slipped a little bit as dine-in has increased and also we've had a lot of new guests, which is great. But we want to make sure that we end the year at a 15% loyalty rate. And so a lot of that is having very enticing rewards that we're giving to people. And so that's one of the reasons why with this app update, we actually restructured the rewards program. So before, $1 spent on food equals 1 point, and that stayed the same. But before, you had to get 100 points to get a $10 reward. Well, now we give a $5 reward at 50 points. So just cutting in half the amount of time that it will take you to get to real money to spend back at Mooyah. And this was, we were a little bit nervous about this, and we're still watching what it's doing to redemptions and profitability and really those types of things for franchisees. But we're encouraged. In the 3 weeks after we made that switch, we had a 69% increase in redemptions and a pretty substantial, about 20% increase in engagement. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we're hopeful we'll continue to sustain. I know hope isn't a strategy, but things are looking good right now. And a lot of that too is just responding to ongoing effects of the pandemic within our communities and giving people value sooner. Food costs are going up for everybody, and especially in grocery, as we're seeing across proteins, across a lot of different categories. So it was really important for us to address that with our loyalty component of the brand. Say, yes, while we know a certified Angus beef burger with buns baked in-house and real hand-cut fries, real ice cream shakes, this food isn't cheap because it's real food, it's quality food. But if you get on the rewards app, let us engage with you, come in a couple of times, you're going to get a free burger, within really one or two, really two visits if you're more than a couple of people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually curious, are there any loyalty perks to dine-in, or is it all digital orders right now?
If people dine in, what they see on their receipt, let me see, I've got about 50 million Mooyah receipts hanging around here. Yeah, there we go. So whenever people order in the restaurant, there's a barcode on their receipt that tells them to scan this with the app and you'll get your points.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Or they can scan, there's barcode readers at the register, they can scan it there too, but sometimes we don't really mention that because we want to keep things moving quickly at the register. So we tell them, hey, and now go scan your receipt as you're waiting for us to bring your food.